Angela Mincy, and I'm going to show you guys the Hess Haunted House Tour. Enjoy it. Sorry about bad quality, but it's awesome. Stop.
Mansion was built in 1914 by Charles Nathan Hess. The house has 9,129 square feet of living space, which includes the garage and the sauna. There are presently 8 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. The basement is unique in that it is larger than the footprint of the house. It extends 8 feet beyond the front of the house. Mr. Hess was a dairy farmer who homesteaded the property in 1885 and hired Chinese laborers to build dikes, which increased the size of the farm. Hess sold his milk to people in Astoria. The cows were transported from one island to another for fresh grass, and while they were being transported on barges, they were being milked. The Hess farm continues to be the home of dairy cows to this day. And the Hess family still owns the house and the property surrounding the house, along with a piece of land across the Youngs River where the milk boats landed and distributed milk in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The basement was a home for farm laborers. A water-powered dumbwaiter moved food from the kitchen down to the workers below. And the house also had its own electric power plant. Now, Charles Hess suffered a tragic and mysterious death in 1914, the year that he and his family moved into the unfinished home, leaving his wife Jane, 2 boys, and 5 girls behind to care for the house and dairy. It was believed he suffered from dementia. A newspaper article dated September 7, 1893 said this: C.N. Hess was brought into this city from his place this afternoon, a raving maniac. He had to be bound hand and foot. But after he was lodged in the jail, he became more peaceable. It is said that he lost his reckoning by agitating his mind on the building of the proposed railroad. He will be taken to Salem tonight, presumably to damage the state insane asylum. The room in which Hess died was the southwest bedroom on the 2nd floor. Over the years, this section of the house has seen more paranormal activity than any other portion of the house. Now, in 1940, the Hess's oldest child, Minnie, who was born in 1880, made a deal with the Navy, who turned the house into 7 apartments. The Navy purchased 4 300-foot radio towers from the Marconi Company, and they needed housing for the men and families that worked the radio station. Now, during the time that the Navy had the home, there were 3 babies born in the house. But again, tragedy struck as one of the men died in what is now the library. As before, it was a mysterious death, and it was suspected that he committed suicide. Now, in 1991, the house had deteriorated to the point where there were 64 broken-out windows with curtains hanging outside. Most of the interior walls were studs only. The basement was 1.5 feet deep with water, and there were cobwebs over everything. The local youth swore that the house was haunted. The county tax assessor valued the house and the 2 acres of land around it at the unbelievably low price of $24,000. As you can see, there have been improvements made since then. It doesn't look like they're quite.
Many years, the Hess mansion seemed to have picked up some bad spirits. The night before the present occupants moved into the house, a local resident reported that 5 men evidently lost their minds in a crazed frenzy, rushed through the house, chopping holes in refrigerators, microwaves, walls, anything that they could find. And if you've got really good eyes, right below your feet, you'll see some of those axe marks. We've tried to sand them out, but some of them were too deep, for that. The result of this was what greeted the Showerman family and all their friends as they arrived at the house to clean up and move in the next morning. The first 15 minutes in the house proved to be a real spiritual eye-opener for the family and their friends. First, there were the axe marks everywhere. Then Chris Smith, a friend of the family, was reaching for a burned-out light bulb, and it exploded in his face. He swears he never touched it. He said it just, on its own, just blew up. Then one of the workers, right above your heads on the 2nd floor, picked up a piece of old trim that there was just garbage everywhere in the house. And he threw it out the window, and a gust of wind just came up all of a sudden, grabbed the piece of wood, threw it clear across the yard, out to that parking lot, and through the windshield of the car. Then Sam Hess, all of this happened, boom, boom, boom. Sam Hess, the great-great-grandson grandson of CNS, who built the house, picked up an old toilet that somebody had shoved underneath the stairs, and he said it looked perfectly fine. He grabbed it, picked it up, and the thing sheared in half, and the sharp porcelain edge slit his wrist.
Oh.
We sent him to the hospital, and there was about 15 people here. We called everybody down to the entryway and had a big prayer meeting. And we held hands, and we just prayed in Jesus' name. All demonic spirits, evil spirits, anything that's not of God has to leave the house, and we want everybody to be safe. If you want to see actually more of that, Koin TV did a special on the house this summer, and they have pictures of Sam's wrist, and you can look at it on YouTube, and if you just type in Hess House Astoria, those 3 words, that'll be the first YouTube video that pops up, and you can see Sam, and he'll tell the story and all that kind of stuff. Okay, through these doors, you'll find the entryway where the first prayer meeting was held. On your left, as you're going up the stairs, you'll see a library, and in that library is where it is presumed that the Coast Guard officer committed suicide. Underneath the carpet there is a trap door, and under that trap door is a set of stairs that go right down into a brick wall. Go absolutely nowhere. Weird. There's some other weird things you're going to see in the house, but a lot of old houses have some funny things in them. All right, I am done with